This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the
Where are
same
we even
question.
going? There's
Try to
nothing
keep
out
up.
here.
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Maybe we're going the opposite direction,
Don't
but sure.
worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me? You're not seriously expecting me to fight, are you?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever seen Farina in a fight before.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into indemnitium. Miss Farina said so herself.
Precisely. And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my power is gone anyway. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress more than anything.
Trevor's like, bitch, I gotta save your ass.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
Ugh, say la vie.
C'est la vie, indeed. Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as a more brave and seasoned adventurer than I swoops in to save the day.
Sure, Farina.
Aw,
I'm gonna use you
too
anyway.
bad. I was so pumped to feast my eyes on fight mode Farina.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
When isn't it left to me,
Don't
Loic?
worry, piece of cake.
Oh, you're not even the one fighting. Bite your tongue.
Not now.
Shower me with praise.
You know what? This is not gonna work. You're gonna have to... No, change. You have to resort to drastic measures here.
The night is cold. Don't be scared.
More. Okay, Layla. We're up again.
Mine to command.
Wind, hear me.
Sucks when you're against Hydro when you've got a Hydro team.
Go as one. My guiding stars. Don't be scared.
Yoo-hoo! Let my name echo in song!
Settle down.
Maybe we can convert it? No, it doesn't convert to prayer. Damn it.
Bravo! Good job!
That took way longer
You
than it should
certainly
have.
live up to your reputation.
Jesus.
Yeah,
me?
thank
Stop
you.
shooting me.
Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
I killed it. Lol. Without even touching it. Huh. He's been living here.
Are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Farina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troop. We now have everyone except you.
Delphi explains the whole sequence of events so far to
So-
Zoomon.
You think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone. I care just as much as everyone else about making the Little Oceanid a success. That's why I wanted to wait until after the show.
She wasn't a victim of a serial disappearance case. She just died.
If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us. We're supposed to be a unit when we're on stage.
Viamont, avoiding the truth will not help anyone, unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Viamont. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The Little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances.
Ah, Fonta's sponsorship, of
It
course.
seemed like a win-win. So, I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. It was only when the merchant came to deliver the goods that I realized the drink in question was
Oh,
synth.
holy shit, bro. You really should have done your research.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
Remember that induces a state of euphoria, but it also causes significant harm to the body.
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything right away. She was completely shocked as well. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant and stated that the troupe could not agree to this collaboration. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount was astronomical. There was no way we'd be able to pay.
What damages exactly? They gave goods. They just take back their goods. End of deal? They've had no damages.
And then
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director told us all to leave the city one day. I knew then that things must have reached a boiling point. I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything.
You brought the director to the attention of the synth dealers. Your mistake gave them a motive to kidnap and murder her.
Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it. Happy now?
I don't know that you did. You can't really be blamed for the actions of others, i.e. the actions of the kidnappers and the murderers.
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us?
How would you have helped? You're not a hero.
What do you mean? You were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her!
He didn't know it was a life or death situation. Being told that you're going to be sued for damages isn't a life and death situation, Polo. The fact that the director, do we even have a name for the director? Just the director? Was aware that things had escalated doesn't mean that it still, is a life and death situation to, what's his name? Villemont. He just knew it was serious, not that it was a life and death situation. You're being overly dramatic with your inappropriate feelings. She looked at you as a brother. I'm kind of finding your feelings a little uncomfortable.
How could you be so stupid?
He did nothing wrong. I mean, yeah, she looked at the contract before he, agreed to it. But I don't see anything wrong in his actions after that.
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
You need to just chill the fuck out, bro.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered. She was the love of my life.
You need to get over yourself. If someone sees you as literal family, your feelings for them are going to be absolutely revolting and abhorrent to them. You need to get over yourself and stop saying she's the love of your life when the feelings were definitely not reciprocated. You just need to figure out a way to deal with those emotions and get rid of them. I know it's easier said than done. I get that, but he's done nothing to address it. He's just been pining for the woman he would never have had. And that's really toxic to your own health, sir. You really should start to put yourself first. And no, I do not agree that Villemont got Aurelie murdered. I don't think the two are connected. You cannot be held accountable for the actions of others. He is not responsible for someone else kidnapping and murdering Aurelie. The two are not connected. Yeah, there's a causation between the two of them, but they're not direct, effect.
And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show.
I understand him, and I believe him.
How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
How about you just shut up and stay in your lane?
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. What good is my apology now?
Agreed.
I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer. It's what I deserve.
No, it's not what you deserve. And also, I don't really see that you made an awful, terrible mistake. You didn't know what was happening. Yes, Aurelie has said, hey, you guys should probably leave the city. But that's the extent of his knowledge. He didn't know any more of that. So how can he really be saying he made a mistake when he wasn't really involved in whatever happened after?
End my life, so I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
I hate to break it to you, but it's not going to work that way because she dissolved into water and therefore she's with the Oceanids.
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost! I don't ever want to see your face again!
I hate to break it to you, Paolo, but you don't actually have the right to say that in regards to the troupe. If you don't want to see him again, then you need to be the one leaving the acting troupe. He is well within his right to remain.
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Now pipe down, both of you!
Thank you, Farina.
Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. To shield you all from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her. And that's what you should be celebrating. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured? But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director Aurelie and the home she built you all to let go. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again.
That's great, but why do we have a capital letter after a comma?
If she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was a truly outstanding person.
What you said, it really puts everything into perspective.
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but I ended up making it all about me and my self-pity.
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When emotions are running high, things get lost in the fray. The end of the story needs to focus back on Aurelie herself. She's the true star of the show.
It might actually be possible to find out more about her fate.
What do you mean?
Well, the fountain's all I can think
The
about.
Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that Aurelie left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
We didn't recover everything already?
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on Aurelie's true feelings.
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your capable hands.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location for now, and wait for our good news.
How are we supposed to know what objects relate to Aurelie? They don't exactly have people's names on them. Wouldn't you need these people to find out what was hers? I feel like you need them to sift through the items. Celine, is it you I'm talking to? Yep.
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, that case has been closed for quite a while now. Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application. Okay, please hold on. I'll have someone dig them out.
Celine sends a staff member to retrieve the box of Aurelia's former belongings.
This is all Aurelie
But how do we know it belonged to
behind.
her?
Just whatever she was carrying on her person and this tattered old notebook.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary. Let's see. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolving young women.
Why would she have had access to her belongings at that point? And why would she write it down?
If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vacher's guilt.
Look, I paused that long because I was actually thinking about that, but I decided not to say it.
Vacher took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
I guess Aurelie must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators. Wait, it cuts off.
Is something wrong?
Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. She probably didn't have much strength left. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
Someone else was taken. That makes 6. Or perhaps a 7th. Someone tried to escape yesterday but was caught. She hasn't been since. Was that yesterday? Maybe not. I've long since lost track of time. Sorry, I don't know if writing this is of any use or how much longer I can do it for. I can already see my fate approaching, but what terrifies me even more is... Oh god, it's 4 pages. I thought of seeing others from the troop here. Have I truly protected them? Sorry, I'm so sorry. I can't write. I can write no more. I think I have a fever and my old stomach troubles have returned, but nobody has given me any medicine. I suppose I'm more fortunate than crazy. The pain keeps her awake at night. I suppose they think that anything goes so long as experimental subjects can be used up before they die. It is so damp here. I've given her my blanket. So cold, so cold, so cold. As long as one persists, all things will pass. There will be a reward for hard work. I like to tell them such things, but it is I who am losing my grip. If anyone sees us, troop safe, I them important, please farewell apologize. Live, perform, future, regret Cleo. This page is an absolute mess, and the writer's pen seems to have wandered its surface at random. Only some words can be made out and barely at that. Is her name actually Cleo? From this page onward, the diary stops to be replaced with lyrics from musicals. Some are in the form of newspaper clippings, others are handwritten with many crossings out and changes. It is apparent that the pages have been referenced often and that this was the personal notebook of artistic director Aurelie.
She was so terrified.
She watched a girl get dissolved right in front of her and had to wait for her own death in silence.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but at the end of the day, she was only human. I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been. Wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely familiar.
Flipping through the notebook, the lyrics continue. However, one page has been torn out, folded up, and placed next to the last blank page. At the bottom of the folded note, there are 2 new lines Aurelie has written, in handwriting much more legible than before, but it seems that they took her both great effort and a great deal of time to write. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want? Because I am an older sister to them. I love them.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Isn't that the most important line in the little Oceanid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence, waiting for death to come. I'm sure this is what the troop would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust. admiration and love, and she truly deserved it. Let's go. It's time for them to learn Director O'Reilly's final thoughts.
Wait, we're allowed to just have the diary? Bring the director's diary back. Wow, I thought we were just looking at it. I didn't think we were actually, like, stealing it. It seems a bit wrong. It's evidence. Even if the case is over, it's still evidence. This game never gets dark. I wish it would sometimes. Like, we just dealt with some serious, matters right there. This woman watched a lady be killed in front of her, and she knows that death is imminent. And we kind of just didn't give it emotional weight. It was just kind of rushed by. It doesn't really let us dwell in the dark moments of the game. It just sort of has them really shallowly and then moves on. It never allows us to dwell, and I don't like it. I wish it would give us more magnitude to this darker side. After reading through the notebook, some are lost for words, some weep bitterly, and some grind their teeth and howl with rage. A long time passes before the group is able to come together and make a decision.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death, then it's a meaningful way to end the story.
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant sacrificing herself. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now, do you think you can bring yourself to go ahead with the show?
I don't think he's the one with the problem right now. I think this guy's the one with the issues.
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance to make this a show worthy of our director. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be about Director O'Reilly and her alone.
And at the same time, I mean, with the extra information we've been given, we see that O'Reilly was technically sacrificing herself by getting the troop out of town and letting herself be caught probably is not the right terminology to use, but the point I'm making is that she knew that her actions could lead to her, getting captured and caught up in this synth business, shall we say. She probably didn't know she was going to die from it, but yeah. So she willingly put herself on the line to get rid of the troop out of the Quarter Fontaine and so that they were safe. How can you place blame on this guy for her self-sacrificing actions? That is abundantly unfair to him.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus. I have a feeling that this will turn out to be the most mesmerizing performance of your lives.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
I'm with Paimon on this one. Just because you got a good story doesn't mean you can perform it well. Plus, can they sing?
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless number of musicals, I've learned one important thing.
Out of curiosity, why does it have to be a musical? Why can't it just be a play?
If you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role, pouring all your emotion into your performance.
That doesn't change my point. If you can't sing, no amount of emotion is going to be able to save that. You still can't sing.
And aren't human emotions, love, hate, regret, and hope, just the most mesmerizing things in this world?
No, I think a good singing voice is far more mesmerizing than any emotion you can put behind it.
I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Yeah, Farina, dedication doesn't, override skill. If they can't sing or act, they can't sing or act. Nothing is going to save it. I don't care what kind of pretty ribbons you put on them. It's not going to change their ability.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Farina. And thank you for supporting us through all this.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, This role was originally meant to be played by the director. I'm just filling in for her. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that, I have no objection to it.
Now we're talking like a serious acting troupe. All right, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
Is she seriously gonna procure the opera at the place?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage. By which I, of course, mean the Opera Epiclese.
Whoa, wait, what?
No.
By the way, we're
never
missing
going to
people
work.
here.
It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
We're missing the other chick. I think there might have been another guy, but I don't remember anymore. But there's definitely another female.
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
No, though that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
Believe in yourselves. Go big or go home.
I have no problem with it then. How about the rest of you?
My problem is that the stage is so freaking big at the Opera Place compared to your tiny little stage here. So you've got to practice your blocking on a much grander scale, because to get off stage, you got to walk further.
I'll take your silence as a yes.
Me too.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a dream come true.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on.
No pressure.
I need to get the go-ahead from Nervillette. I know just where to find him.
Ammonia? Where else would he be? Find Nervillette. Yep, it's exactly where I would have found him. This is going to be their first conversation post-events that we know about. Other than her leaving. Yeah. Oh, wait, he's behind. Back the fuck up. He's at the pool behind.
Hey,
Oh, no,
look
he's
at
not that far
that.
over.
Looks like I guessed right.
I thought he was
You were
further
just
along this way.
guessing?
Nervillette. Hi, I have a purpose again.
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Farina. And you too, traveler in Paimon.
Not really.
What
I
might
saw you
assist
last
with
week.
today?
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event. You see...
I don't think Nervillette is in charge of bookings
understand.
for the Opera House personally.
The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is coming from the three of you, I see no reason to make things unduly difficult. The story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it performed on stage. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
what do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about their situation. But one thing led to another, and... well, here we are. In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every one. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom. But I've developed a great sense of curiosity about their lives.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
Why would you suddenly ask a question like that?
Well, if the Little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist Cleo are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once more.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again. No exceptions. Nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories, either on or off the stage. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it has already been well worth the price of admission. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious. They're quite fortunate to be able to bid farewell to their past in such a magnificent manner.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy, be it on the stage or not. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paperwork to the troupe once the details are confirmed.
Thanks, Nervalet.
You are very welcome.
It's like no one in this place has a freaking job, honestly. How do you guys pay to live? It's not right.
Yep.
She grabbed onto the door.
Good news, everyone. It's done. The Opera Epiclese is booked. Thanks to my eloquent and
There's the
impassioned
extra woman.
speech, Monsieur Neuvillette was moved to provide us with
And the
a
other guy.
fitting stage for this special performance. We've had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity, but we now have all of the ingredients necessary to stage a truly spectacular performance. A touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, a passionate and dedicated cast. Now, let's work together and make this show the best it can be.
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiamma and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience now.
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation? That's great!
Oh, communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far. I never could have pictured this scene a few days ago.
It's amazing! Even though Farina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's really fired everyone up!
I'm really looking forward to the final production.
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have. We really value your input.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.